You already died. You just don't know it yet. You're going to die twice. The first time, you won't even notice. No hospital bed, no final words, no funeral. Just a Tuesday morning, coffee in hand, alarm clock, same route to work. And somewhere between your third snooze button and your 40th birthday, you'll stop being alive. Your heart will still beat. Your lungs will still breathe. But you? The person you were supposed to become? Gone. And here's the terrifying part. Most people don't realize it happened until they're 62 years old, staring at a retirement cake, wondering where the last 4 decades went. So, let me ask you something, and I need you to be honest with yourself. When was the last time you actually wanted to do? Not what your parents wanted, not what your boss expected, not what your friends would approve of. When was the last time you chose? Can't remember? Then you might already be gone. But stay with me, because in the next 30 minutes, I'm going to show you the exact moment it happened. The moment most people lose their life without noticing. And more importantly, I'm going to show you how to get it back. Picture this. There's a funeral happening right now. No one's crying. No one's dressed in black. There's no casket. But someone just died. It's Sarah. She's 34, marketing manager, good salary, nice apartment. Her Instagram looks amazing. 2 years ago, Sarah had a dream. She wanted to open a small bakery. She'd sketch out floor plans during lunch breaks. She researched suppliers. She had a name picked out, Rise and Shine. Her eyes would light up when she talked about it. Then one day, she stopped talking about it. Not because she failed. She never even tried. Her friends asked about it at dinner one night. She laughed it off. Oh, that was just a phase. I'm good where I am. The money's stable, you know? Everyone nodded. Conversation moved on, but something happened in that moment, something you couldn't see. The Sarah who dreamed of flower-dusted mornings and the smell of fresh croissants, she died, right there at that dinner table. The woman who walked out of that restaurant, she looked like Sarah, talked like Sarah, but she was different. She was the ghost of Sarah, going through the motions, playing the role, existing. And here's what makes this so haunting. She doesn't know she's dead. She'll work another 30 years. She'll get promoted. She'll buy a bigger apartment. She'll post vacation photos. But late at night, when she can't sleep, she'll feel something. A strange emptiness. Like she's watching her life through a window instead of living it. She'll try to fill it. New relationship. New car. New hobby she quits after 3 weeks. Nothing will work. Because you can't fix a problem you don't know you have. You can't resurrect someone who doesn't know they're dead. So when does it happen? When do we die our first death? It's not sudden. It's not dramatic. It happens in a moment so small you'd miss it if you blinked. It happens the first time you choose safety over yourself. Let me paint you a picture. You're 24, maybe 27, could be 32. Age doesn't matter. You're at a crossroads. One path is scary. It's the thing you actually want. The other path is safe. It's what everyone expects. And you feel it. That pull, that whisper in your chest saying, do it. Choose you. Take the leap. But then the voices start. What if you fail? What will people think? You've got bills to pay. Maybe later, when you're more prepared. Don't be stupid. Be realistic. And so you choose safety. You take the job you don't really want. You stay in the relationship that's fine. You move to the city that makes sense on paper. You nod and smile when your parents say, We're so proud of your sensible choices. And that moment of choosing safety over self, that's your first death. But here's the sick part. It feels like the right decision. Relief washes over you. The anxiety stops. Everyone approves. Your life moves forward smoothly. So you do it again, and again, and again. Each time, it gets easier. Each time, the voice that says, "Choose you," gets quieter. Until one day, it goes silent. And you don't even notice. Now let me describe your life after that first death. You wake up. You scroll your phone while half asleep. You shower. You eat something quick. You commute. You work. You eat lunch at your desk. You work more. You commute home. You watch Netflix. You scroll your phone. You go to bed. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Weekend comes. You're too tired to do anything meaningful. You run errands. You meal prep. You watch more Netflix. Monday again. The weeks blur into months. Months blur into years. Occasionally, something breaks the pattern. A vacation, a wedding, a holiday. But then you return, back to the loop. And here's what's insidious. It's not a bad life. You're not suffering. You're not in crisis. There's no emergency. It's just empty. Like eating cardboard. It fills you, but it doesn't nourish you. You're alive, but you're not living. And the scariest part? You've forgotten what living even feels like. Because you've been dead so long, you think this is normal. You look around. Everyone else is doing the same thing. Same complaints, same routines, same dead eyes at the coffee shop Monday morning. So it must be right. This must be life. But let me tell you something. Just because everyone's dead doesn't mean it's normal. It just means the cemetery is crowded. So how do you know if you're already dead? Let me give you the signs. These are the symptoms of a ghost life. You can't remember the last time you felt truly excited. Not happy, not content, excited. That electricity in your chest that makes you want to jump out of bed. When was the last time you felt that? 5 years ago? 10? You say maybe someday about everything you actually want. Someday you'll travel. Someday you'll start that business. Someday you'll learn guitar. Someday you'll start living. But someday is the language of the dead, because someday never comes. You're waiting for permission. You're waiting for the right time, the right amount of money, the right circumstances. You're waiting for someone to tell you it's okay to choose yourself. But here's the truth. No one's coming to give you permission. You feel like you're watching your life instead of living it. You're the audience, not the main character. Things happen to you. You don't make things happen. You're a passenger in your own existence. You've become a master of rationalization. I'm just being responsible. I'm just being realistic. I'm just waiting for the right time. These aren't reasons, they're eulogies. They're the things we say at funerals to make sense of a life that never really happened. You're numb. Not sad, not angry, just flat. The highs aren't that high, the lows aren't that low. Everything's gray. You're breathing, but you're not alive. If you recognized yourself in any of these, I need you to understand something. You're not broken, you're not weak, you're not a failure. You're dead. And the good news about being dead? You can be resurrected. But before we talk about resurrection, you need to understand what you're losing. Because the ghost life has a cost. And it's higher than you think. You lose time, not just hours or days, decades. The average person spends 30 years sleepwalking.
30 years.
That's not a mistake. That's a lifetime within a lifetime. You lose your relationships. How can you truly connect with someone when you're not even connected to yourself? Your relationships become transactions, routines. You love people, but you don't feel it. You're physically present, but emotionally absent. You become a ghost to the people who love you. You lose your potential. Somewhere inside you is a person you were supposed to become, a version of you that's braver, fuller, more alive. But that person is trapped, locked in a cage you built from fear and shoulds and supposed tos. And every day you live on autopilot, that person suffocates a little more. You lose your death.
I know that sounds strange, but hear me. When you die your first death, the autopilot death, you rob yourself of your second death.
Your real death. Because what's the point of a final moment if you never really lived? What stories will people tell at your real funeral if you never did anything worth telling? What will you think about in your final days if all you did was exist? The ghost life doesn't just rob you of life. It robs you of a meaningful death. So, how do you come back? How do you resurrect yourself? It starts with a single moment. A moment just as small as the one where you died. It's the moment you choose yourself again. Not tomorrow, not when you're ready. Not when it makes sense. Now, let me tell you about Marcus. Marcus was 41. Accountant. Divorced. 2 kids every other weekend. He'd been dead for 17 years. He died the day he gave up on music. He played guitar. He was good. He had a band in college, but it wasn't realistic, so he stopped. For 17 years, his guitar collected dust in a closet. Then one night, he couldn't sleep. That familiar emptiness, that ache. He walked to the closet, opened it, stared at the guitar. And he picked it up. His fingers were stiff. He'd forgotten most of the chords. It sounded terrible. But something happened. For the first time in 17 years, he felt something. Not happiness, not relief, something deeper. Recognition. Like running into an old friend you thought was dead. That was Marcus's resurrection moment. Not when he became a rock star. Not when he quit his job. Not when his life completely changed. But when he chose himself, even just a little. Even just for one night. That's how resurrection works. Not with a grand gesture, not with a complete life overhaul, with one small choice. One honest decision. One moment where you pick you over safety. Here's how you do it. Notice you're dead. You can't fix what you don't acknowledge. Sit with the truth. You've been living on autopilot. You've been choosing safety over yourself. Say it out loud. I've been dead. Identify your moment. When did you die? What was the dream you gave up? What was the crossroads where you chose wrong? You need to know what you buried. Make one choice for yourself, not 10. Not a complete life change. 1. Pick up the guitar. Send the email. Have the conversation. Take the class. Book the flight. Do the smallest version of the thing you are afraid to do. Feel the discomfort. Resurrection hurts. Your life will resist. People will question you. You'll doubt yourself. Good. That means you're alive again. Dead people don't feel discomfort. Ghosts don't feel fear. If you're scared, you're on the right path. Choose yourself again tomorrow, and the next day, and the day after. Not perfectly, not dramatically. Just consistently. One small choice at a time. One honest decision at a time. That's how you rebuild a life. That's how you come back from the dead. Here's what I need you to understand. You're going to die twice no matter what. The second death is coming, the final one, the one with the casket and the funeral and the finality. You can't avoid it.
But the first death? The autopilot death? The ghost life? That one's optional. You get to choose. Every single day, you get to choose.
Choose safety and die a little more. Or choose yourself and come back to life. And I know what you're thinking, but it's too late. I've already wasted so much time.
I'm already too old, too stuck, too far gone. Let me tell you something. Sarah, the woman with the bakery dream, she's 34.
She's got 40+ years ahead of her. That's enough time to live 5 lifetimes. Marcus? He's 41. He's now in a band. They play small venues. He'll never be famous, but he's alive. And you? However old you are, however dead you've been, however long you've been on autopilot, you still have time. Not someday, not eventually, right now. Today, this moment, you can choose yourself. You can come back to life. The question is, will you? Or will you die twice without ever really living once? I'm going to leave you with one last thought. Imagine it's your actual funeral. The second death, the real one. You're 82. Everyone you love is there. They're about to tell stories about your life. What do you want them to say? Do you want them to talk about how responsible you were, how you always played it safe? How you had a stable job and paid your bills on time? Or do you want them to talk about how you lived? How you chose yourself? How you took risks? How you chased the things that scared you?
How your eyes lit up when you talked about your passions? How you were alive? That future is being written right now, today.
In this moment, with every choice you make. So choose yourself. Come back to life, because you've already died once. Don't die twice.